Hey guys, this is PJ for Best Sound for Video. We are here on a very windy day, so excuse any of the sounds that you may hear outside. I have my really cool looking NASA t-shirt on, so hope you guys appreciate that I took the time to put the t-shirt. Nah, just kidding. But we're gonna go today through RODE VideoMics, specs, tips and tricks. I hope you find this useful. If you do, please like, comment and subscribe on the video, and here we go. All right, so I will be explaining today the RODE VideoMic. A friend of mine gave me this mic because he broke it. So I'm gonna be explaining how we can fix from zero all the rubber stripes, put them back onto the shock mount of the mic, which is not the best, but it does the job, I guess, a little bit, yeah. And then here is this puppy, which is the RODE VideoMic version 1. I'll be explaining a couple of things, going into detail in some of the stuff, and some other stuff I won't be talking about, like for example the NTG version of the RODE microphones, because those are another category for microphones, let's say. They sound better, but they are not as budget friendly as these guys will be. I'm also gonna be explaining how to properly take care of the wind socket, which I'll be explaining a couple of things like tips and tricks to do with it, just so you always have it good and presentable, and most importantly, sounding good and covering your microphone from all the wind noises that we get. This is what comes in the package, which is a second set of rubber stripes. So in case you break one of these, you have replacements, which are really good. What you don't have a replacement is this little piece right here, which is exactly the piece that he broke, as you can see. There is a little latch over here on this corner, which is not in the other corner. So that's what glues everything together on the battery compartment where this battery goes. I'll be explaining a little bit about batteries as well, and why you want to get the good quality batteries, and why this piece is so important to make contact, as if this battery compartment is open and the battery doesn't do a good contact within the pins inside, you will get your sound cut on and off, and we really don't want that. All right, the first thing you need to know about this RODE VideoMic, it's very simple. It's very simple, but at the same time very important. And you have a drawing of the battery right here inside. I don't know if you guys can see. No, I don't think you can see it. Let me see if I put it onto the camera. So there is a little drawing on the inside, which tells you which way the battery goes, all right? And the most important thing when putting together the rubber bands and the mount for this is that you have to put it properly. Otherwise, when you have the microphone on top of the camera, it will start vibrating, or as you move the camera will create some handling noise, which will be transferred to the shock mount and to the shock mount to the mic, and you will hear some of this handling noise, which we don't like. So okay, let's start. It says that the positive pin goes underneath, so that one goes on the bottom of the two pin connectors that are inside over here. Hope you can see, and it says on the battery, as you can see here, a plus, which is the positive one. So that one will insert like this, and it will stay. Usually when you have a properly working battery sled, it will just come into here and press down, and it will close without any issues. But as you can see now, this closes on the left side. I have to really push in here, and it makes the shapes correspond to each other. So that means that the microphone, the sled is properly put over here. But on the other side, which is where we have the problem, as you can see here, if you put it in here, it won't make the contact and the shape. Therefore, coming out. So I came up with like a really easy and budget-friendly solution, which is use an elastic band for the ones you would use for hair, and let's wrap it around the battery and see if that will hold it in place, which I already did and I know it does, but just for demonstration purposes we'll do it again. I put everything together and I undid it, and then put it back together. So should I explain now? No, I'll get into this later on in the video. So what I do is I grab this part, all right, and then just make a double loop in here, okay, like this. So it's like nice, so it's like nice and elastic, and then just run it through here and hold it in place. Now this should be enough to hold the battery in place, but there is a big problem here, which I see, which is that it's exposed. Being exposed to the elements, if you're gonna be shooting outside, some water, the wind could carry some particles, very small particles, which could get inside, and you know, more often than not, will get into the pins of the battery and the connectors on the back of the battery to power the mic. And that's a problem, because then you will start having trouble when you change the battery on and off. So what we want to do is to put the battery sled back in. All right, let me see if you guys can see this. All right, we'll hold it into place here with our fingers and just put this back on. Now you kind of have to do a lot of pressure in here to put this back on. All right, and then as you can see, even with the elastic band, it comes out. All right, so it's not perfectly put, right? So what we need to do is to really push and bring it down over here like this. So we really need to push in here just to make sure that this is properly put. And grab the rubber band, sorry, the elastic band, and adjust it so it stays on. Now, as you can see, this won't get fully into place, and that it's the problem that I just explained. Some particles on or any other undesired materials could get on and, you know, hijack the quality of our sound due to many different factors that can get inside due to many things. So as you can see here, it won't get exactly into place, and that is a problem. You kind of, you know, if you wiggle a little bit, it's amazing that just because of this that you see over here, nothing works now. All right, I mean, it's not that nothing works, but it won't get exactly into place. So the best thing you can do is to buy a spare part, but Rode doesn't offer spare parts for this type of battery sled. So you need to come up with your own solution. Also, I wanted to talk about the difference between the silver and the gold one. So the silver one, it's for the version 1 of the RODE VideoMic Pro version 1, and the gold pin is for the version 2, which you kind of you can open and put a rechargeable lithium battery. All right, so we got it into, okay, so as you can see, a little bit of wiggle, but we got it into place. This is the best we can do for now. As you can see, it's not fully clicked. In this side it is, but in the other side it's not. One thing you should know about Rode is that they make the stuff so it exactly fits into place. So if you are fixing your microphone and you see that something is not into place, I will strongly suggest that you wiggle it until it comes back into place. All right, and now if we go to the back of the mic, we can see that it works. All right, so that will be the on position, and this is the high pass position, which also works. Let me see, so you guys can see. All right, the LED indicating. There we go. So now the LED is gone. That means, you see, that there is a problem on the connection. So it will stay on. So now, as you can see, the battery, we put it into place in the best way we could. Now this rubber band can slide off really easily, so I will suggest to, now that you have this here, to put an extra one if you happen to have extra elastic bands on your kit or your sister's kit or in the bathroom. But one thing I will say is that you have to be really careful once this is once you're using gimmicks to fix the microphone, as you know, a lot of rumble and a lot of shaking on the microphone could make the batteries let move, and the battery to move the pins and don't make full contact, which will create cutoffs in your sound, all right, on and off. So now let's turn on the mic just to check that we did a good job. All right, so as you can see here, the microphone is on, and let's give it a little. All right, so it looks like this is working. Yes. Okay, great. Okay, great. So this is working. So now you should know also that in order for us to do a good job in mounting back all these plastic bands and elastic mounts, you should start from the microphone naked, let's say, so nothing at all, just the microphone and the back piece over here, and then from there you build and you start putting it into here. So don't put this first and then start, because it's just a mess. So now, one thing I wanted to say about the elastic bands is that in the inside of the rubber stripes you have numbers. All right, let me see if you guys can see this. All right, so it says number 2 over here, right? Whereas in this one, it says number 1. Let's see here. All right, number 2 and number 1. So that there is 2 2s and 2 1s. That's just to show that the 2 1s go on one side and the 2 2s go on the other side. Let's start putting them on the mount. First, we put it underneath the microphone, where you can see you can move the foam a little bit. So now what you can see here is the microphone stripped. We took off the foam, the RODE foam, and we are showing you the mic. As you can see here, there is not, let me see if you guys can check this out properly. There we go. So as you can see here, the microphone diaphragm, which is what captures everything, it's all the way on the back, right? And this is a big capsule that lives on the bottom of the shotgun casing. You can see 2 stripes over here, which are stripes that are covered by paper. It's like a paper tape. So this is to protect from any wind or any air that, for example, AC modules that you can have on top, and it's like pumping out air and it's coming straight into your mic. But as you can see in professional microphones, the capsule and all the electronics are throughout the shotgun part of the mic. This one has it on the back, and it has this the shotgun tube, which is what makes it directional, right? Okay, there we go. Here you go. Here you can see. Saying that this microphone is a very unidirectional microphone, I will be lying. It is not a very unidirectional microphone. What's happening here is that they are directing through this tube the sound and focusing more on the resonance. So it resonates when it comes to the capsule, and then that's the capsule capturing everything. Here you have the electronics and going to your camera or iPhone through here, right? Which is a TRS connector. You can see 2 bands on it. I will explain later, or all the cables, connectors, and adapters that work best for this type of mic. So let's start. So as you can see here, these shaped like rubber stripes go exactly on the underneath the capsule of the mic, and if you don't put them properly, it will just come off really easily. So you have to make sure that it is indeed really well put over here. And I strongly suggest that you use your nails to put it in there, and don't use a screwdriver, like a small one, and press, because you could be damaging the rubber stripe, and then that could create some noise over the microphone. All right, so now we see, great. So now we see that this is properly put in here. It's holding into place. It's not moving. And let's move to the other one. This was number 1. So this was number 1. The other number 1, it is over here, where we'll put the other number 1 on the other side. All right. Therefore, so here you go. They go in pairs. And now you can see this is properly put in here as well. We just need to make sure it is really in. All right. So don't leave it a little bit wiggle, because this is what's going to create the resistance between your shock mount and the microphone, and it's going to avoid a lot of the handling noise that we previously spoke about. Let's put the other 2, which go in crossing. So number 2, we'll just fit it in there. With our nails should be more than enough. Alrighty. And as you can see, they are symmetrically perfect over there. And we'll put the other number 2 in cross over here. Okay, great. So now, as you can see, we have the stripes, the elastic stripes are here. They are into place. They're not gonna come off. Okay, great. The mic is still on. So we are still in game. This is great. We're doing such a great job here. All right, perfect. Now this cable, I'll speak about this cable later on. This cable, you should be really careful when you run it through the mount, as denting the cable through here will definitely send your mic to the repair shop, to the mothership, to be repaired. And we don't want that, as I don't know if Rode repairs these mics anymore, so they'll probably tell you to buy another one. Now, if you have it in warranty, this is the version 1, I don't think there is warranty for these guys anymore, but on the version 2, if you have warranty, make sure you use the warranty, register your mic with the serial number, and make sure that everything is into place when it comes to warranties. As if anything would have happened, they will allow you to get another one from the same store, or they will tell you to send it in, and they will fix it for you. All right, so now we're going to put back the foam, all right, all the way to the back, making sure there is absolutely no gaps, okay, in here. You can touch, so there should be 1/2 centimeter or like an inch of room in here. So if you leave it like this is no good. This is the way to go here, okay? So now, once we've made sure that that's into place, our rubber band is perfect into place, mic's still on, we've been handling it, this has been no problems, we will start putting the mount on the microphone, all right? So now, I will suggest that don't go too harsh when putting, again, this cable, as you can damage the audio cable, and that will be it for the microphone. You have here, on the bottom of the shock mount, you have an adapter to put a hot shoe adapter. That's the one that goes on top of the camera, all right? I will explain later the pros and cons of this. They should have given you, I guess, a hot shoe over here for other type of situations where you are not just using the mic outside going around, but that's not the case. We get what we pay for. That's always been like that. And now let's see. So okay, so there we go. So as you can see, there is a hole on the bottom of the shock mount. That's the hole that we're gonna put our audio cable through. All right, and this is really important. Again, do not stress the cable too much from here, and do not try to pass it through. If you see that it's not going through, probably you're doing something wrong. So I will just make sure that we are game with this. Okay, so this is really, really important. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're gonna put the cable like this, following the position of the hole, and then slide this into place. So we have our rubber part of the cable, which is what's making the L shape on the place that we have the hole on the shock mount. Okay, now it's important. This step, it's important. Don't start putting the hole, all right, first, because you will start stressing the cable. What you want to do is run this through the shaped arrow-like holes and get them into place. As you can see, it exactly fits over there, all right? And this you can stress a little bit, as you can see, is this you can stress a little bit. As you can see, this is elastic. I hope you guys can see it good. And then this will go on the bottom of the microphone. Okay, there is some people that like to put these two first, I've seen, and then they put the shock mount. That's not the case for me. I rather make sure that everything is into place first, and then I will start wiggling. I don't like to stress it too much from the middle, as it can pop off again and you have to start over. So again, we just put the arrow shaped like over here, arrow shaped like, yes, and there we go. As I said, Rode makes the pieces so they exactly fit together. It's like a Lego. And let me see, okay, and here we just come in with our elastic string, plastic elastic string, and you can see that it fits into place over here. All right, so now we have completed the back part of the shock mount. It looks strong, looks good, looks healthy. Light is still on, nothing has changed, so that means that the battery fix that we did is working good. As you can see, the rubber band will stay in the middle. So as you can see, the elastic band we put is not obstructing the rubber bands here, it's not obstructing the cable, and that's what we want. All right, so now we put the second one, which slides in as well as the first one. Make sure that you are going through the desired path that Rode made for us on the shock mount. And again, same thing, we'll just pop it off over here, and it perfectly fits. Okay, so this is how it will look. All right, fits good over here, I see. Alrighty, good. And we will do the same with the second one. So put it into place. It slides on, so it slides on and off, like so. It slides on and off like this. Let me show you one more time. Slides on and off. Once it's on, you put the stripe through the path, and again come into place over here, where it should be a clean. It should be a clean shock mount. Okay, now our shock mount, it's exactly how Rode intended it to be used. Okay, there is nothing outside of place. We make sure that everything is working properly. I will use a black one because using a different color one could be distracting for talent. If you have it, you know, if talent is in front of you, and I don't know, some people get distracted very easily for colors, so that's why I use a black one. Now, the important part of this, to put the cable through the hole. And again, Rode made this so they can just put it in one exact position. And that's what we're going to do without stressing the cable. All right, so now we're gonna go into the cable of the microphone. Again, do not stress this cable, it only has one position. All right, as you can see here, there is the hole for the cable, and there is a little rectangle shape like on the bottom. You can see it over here. That's where this part of the plastic of the rubber adapter for the L-shaped cable is gonna go. So just make sure that this is coming into place properly. And as you can see, we can almost see it over there. So just wiggle a little bit. How the cable comes exactly through the hole that Rode intended, and it's holding into place by the rubber part here on the little rectangle. So now you see, because we did a great job putting the mount together, we can stress it a little bit. So now you can see that the hole that was intended for this L-shaped cable, so it can go straight to your camera. It's perfectly put and everything is secure. Nothing's gonna move. All right, we're gaming this. So this is how you would put the cable, making sure it's not stressed over here as well. Nothing is touching on the shock mount and the cable. Nothing is pressing, you know. So we are good to go with this guy. Okay, good. Mic's still on, as you can see. So that means that the elastic band is doing its job. Okay, great. Good. Now I wanted to speak a little bit about the menu on the back part of the microphone. On top you can see there is 3 positions, all right, which is off. This will be on, the flat straight line, and then there is like a inverse L-shaped symbol, which is a high pass or a low cut. It's the same thing, which means that it's only letting the high frequencies pass, and I believe it's set up at 80 Hertz, which is below 80 Hertz. The vocal resonance doesn't have too much information living on it, so a lot of people they just set it and forget it. For example, the wind noise, the rumble, it's on the low frequency spectrum. So some of the wind won't get passed through the filter, therefore making it sound better than if you would have a filter on. Now, I will only suggest to use this for people that don't do post-production. If you do post-production, I will suggest to work your plugin magic in post on your audio editing software, and always record it flat. That's my tip, as we want to the most crystal clear translation between our sound that we're recording or digitalizing and our plugin software. We don't want too much of the settings, as you know, it can create some gremlins, some pops and rustles. Sometimes it depends. All right, good. Okay, good. Now, so on the bottom you can see another switch which says 0. If you turn it to the left, it's -10, and if you turn it to the right, it's +20. What is this for? So -10, let me put this on. So -10 will be it's a pad of -10 dBs, which means that it's attenuating your signal -10 dBs. When do you want to use this? You could use this, for example, if you like to shoot live shows or concerts, or really music events that are that a lot of people come into, and you get a privileged place and you are shooting from the front but right next to the speakers or right next to the monitor for the artist, your mic will overdrive. All right, so you want to put a pad in the situations where you have a lot of the sound source is really close to the mic and can overdrive the signal, because once you overdrive the signal, there is no way back from clipping. There is new software and there is new plugins that can address some of the issues, but really, you know, I'm a post supervisor and I can tell you there is no way back from clipping. I can work a little bit of magic, but I'm not David Copperfield. We are not David Copperfields. All right, here we go. And then we have 0, which will be unity. This is the setup. I will always have it flat. All right, and 0. I don't like to add any because the electronics inside of this kind of, I will say, consumer microphones are not the best, and the hissing and the electrical noise can really make the difference when touching EQ in post or when trying to process the audio in post. But if you were to not use any post software or give it to a sound mixer, post-production sound mixer, which is what, if you want professional audio and you don't have good audio recorded, that's what you should do. Give it to somebody that knows more. That's what I do with the video, I guess. So the other setting, it's +20, as you can see here. So we're just gonna flip the switch and put it at +20. +20 is that the mic is amplifying our signal by 20 dB. Now, one thing you should know is that once you are amplifying the signal, which is what's capturing the resonance tube of the mic and going into the capsule, you are also amplifying the noise, the background noise. So any sounds that are adjacent to us will sound bigger in our recording. And we have to really be aware that if what you're shooting is, for example, non-dialogue stuff, nothing with dialogue, and you're outside recording some B-roll, you know, material handling, stuff like that, and it's really small materials, for example, I would say like painting, like a brush, or I would say, you know, some hair and makeup tutorials where they do a lot of like little sounds. This will be a great setting if you want to get those sounds recorded better. But if I was recording a construction site, I wouldn't put this on, as the mic will overdrive. So it depends on the sound that you're recording. You have to make an assessment that and really make sure that you are using the proper setting for what you are recording. There is not one setting works for all. This is very important that you guys know. Always set up your microphone to your source of sound as you would do with the camera, because when you are shooting with a camera, you basically are adjusting the focus, you're adjusting the exposure, you're adjusting the shot, but that's not necessarily usually the case with sound. People think that you can have one setting works for all, set it and forget it. If you want to use just one setting, I will just put everything flat and then work the magic in post. Again, if you guys don't know much about post, talk to your engineer, find an engineer, or comment on the video, and I will gladly explain a couple of tricks that come really good as a really good fixers for our audio. Okay, the next thing I want to show you guys, it's how to properly use the wind socket. Some people call this dead cat. I don't know why. It doesn't look like a dead cat, but maybe like a rabbit tail. But it is what it is. So let me just put this here for now. So this part, we don't want to lose it. So now this is poorly treated. As you can see, all the hairs are around. If they move, it can create some noise. I always like to have, just brush it. You see? Just brush it. Just brush it, guys. There we go. There we go. Just making it look good and nice and tidy, you know. It will always make a difference within your client when they see that you actually take care of your stuff, all right? So we just brush it and brush it and brush it a little bit. Some of the hair will come off, don't worry. It's not gonna make a difference unless you take a really big chunk of it. But this is the way to brush it, one direction only, the direction that it was intended to be used. Okay. So now, one important thing is that you shouldn't wash this, all right? Do not put this on the washer. Do not put this on the washing machine. Do not put this on the drying machine. It will make the fabric lose its texture, and it will make the hair on the outside thicker and kind of pastery, which will create problems. All right, at the time that you want to actually you want this to work and protect you from the wind, protect your recordings from the wind. Now there is a Velcro on the end, right? As you can see here, it's a little bit hidden, but this Velcro is here for a reason. The reason is that you really need to cover the back part of the mic if you are running into wind problems. Wind will get through any little holes, any little vents that the mic has, and it will get into your mic and into your capsule. So you really want to put this on a way that is not gonna affect well, first of all, that this is not gonna affect the rubbing into the mic. It's not gonna rub, you know, against it. And then you wanna make sure that it's like as closed and as sealed as possible. That's why we also have an elastic material, which is lycra, I believe it is, on the bottom, so we can fit it through here and make pressure within the foam and the bottom part of the mic to make sure that is properly sealed. So now this goes on top of the foam, all right? Do not take the foam and then take this out, because you will be defeating the purpose of a wind socket. The wind socket, they have to, some of them, I will strongly suggest to buy a proper, if you are only shooting in windy situations, I will strongly suggest to buy a Zeppelin or a blimp. RODE has some, there is many companies that sell them, RODE, there is, I can talk about that in another video. This goes over the foam for a better protection or for a stronger protection on the mic. So I'm gonna first put the bottom part so you can see. Okay, let me make sure the edges are properly working. All right, and as you can see, it slides all the way down, all right? So it slides all the way down, and let's try to not leave any holes or any places where the wind can get in our mic. Turn it off for a second, all right? Okay, we just made sure that this is perfectly put. Okay, perfect, great. As you can see, our shock mount is working good, our elastic is working good, so we are game here. Now, we have to Velcro it together on a way that is not gonna create any sound, it's not gonna move, as you can hear the Velcro moving, right? And little moves will definitely transfer through the foam and get into our recording. So it's a little bit difficult to see the Velcro, but there is a stripe of Velcro over there, and we will put this like so. All right, so it will be nice and shaped like it is. Of course, RODE always gives us their brand everywhere, so everyone can see that it's a RODE microphone, and it should be nice and tidy over here. Okay, you see? Okay, this is good. If you put it like this, for example, or you just put it in without Velcro in it, it's gonna rumble. It can rumble with the wind. It can rumble with the wind, so that will create noise. And we also want to make sure we're covering the last part of the foam, ladies and gentlemen. So now, okay, let's find our Velcro again, and there we go. Just strip it in, all right? And this is how it will look on the final product now, because I was handling it before. You can see, but you can just brush it a little bit. Make it look good. All right, brush it to the bottom. Okay, great. great. Now this looks great, and this is exactly how it has to look. All right, friends, I got us a 5D Mark I, which is what I had available here to make this for the demonstration purposes. And now I'm going to start by getting into the audio menu here. Let me see if I can turn this on. There we go. Yeah, I know, no lens. We don't want a lens for this. Okay, great. So you go, in this case, all the Canon cameras are kind of the same menu. Now it's more advanced, but this has at least 10 years or more. You go to the camera menu, and then on menu 4, that's where you can find the sound recording. All right. So sound recording menu is not the best. It has a couple of things, but definitely not something that we are able to change a lot of our sound quality. The first thing you want to do is change your sound recording to manual. Okay, make sure if you're not getting any signal, it could be because it's on disable. When it's on disable, no signal will get through. So we want to put it on manual and adjust the signal right here, right? So now we can change. You can see the blue arrow is where we were before, as where we are now is, you know, as I always say, hit that -12, -6. So we will want to be there for a reference level, and not with the microphone, because right now what you're hearing is the mic that's on the camera here. You can see that I'm picking because I'm touching it. It's the internal microphone. Never, ever, 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 ever use this microphone for a professional sound recording or something that's important to you. Always get a double system recording, whereas it's a handheld recording with something on, or a mic on top of the camera, which is what I'm showing now. For demonstration purposes, again, we will put the Rode microphone and have the camera read the signal coming from this instead of the signal coming from the microphone here. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lower this all the way down over here, so there is nothing coming in, and we will start setting up the gain, all of us at the same time. Then let me explain here about the wind filter. The wind filter is basically what I told you before. It's a low cut or a high pass, which is 75 hertz, 65, 80. You know, each manufacturer has different ones. I will strongly suggest to change this in post, or to touch it in post if you have the chance, and always record flat. So we are gonna disable this, and we are going to go into the camera side here to get the access to the input, which we will be using over mini jack or auxiliary cable or 3.5 millimeter to the camera. Here we go. So now we are right about, let me just check. Okay, so now you can see that that's the microphone on the camera, and let's see what will happen when we plug this in. All right, so as you can see here, we have plugged in our microphone, but we are not getting any signal, and it doesn't matter how much I move it, it's just not gonna get any signal. Just pointing on my mouth. Why? It's because this is rule number 1. Always check that your mic is on. All right, so we're just gonna turn the mic on, and as we turn it on, you're gonna see some signal coming in. This is great now. All right, so I'm pointing at my voice from the camera perspective, kind of. You can see. And this is, it's not a good signal for this type of cameras. Why? Because the preamps. So if you are recording with the preamps on the camera and this consumer microphone, when you raise the levels in post, it will also raise the noise, and as it's gonna sound kind of an electrical noise as the preamp is overworking. So what you want to do is capture a good signal. All right, and your peaks are the ones that should be between topping on -6. So we have a reference here, which is -12 dBs, all the way down to -40 or 0. here on the reading, you should make sure that you are picking right at -6. So count the bars if you want, or once you are experienced, have a good visual reference. But this is where you want to live. You want to live between -6 and -12. That will be the perfect recording, or the perfect reference level at the time of giving us the footage, so we can touch it in post. All right. Okay, this is good. So now let's see what happens when I move the position of the microphone more towards my mouth. You can see that I'm still picking. Well, I'm picking a little bit more now, but I'm still kind of picking on the same levels. As you can see the blue mark over here. Just lower it a little bit down. Okay, so 2 points down as I change the position of the microphone. So now you can see that changing the position of the microphone has changed our gain in our peaks on highs and lows. You see, sometimes I'm even peaking. That's what you don't want. You don't want to see any reds ever in your recording. No reds. No reds. All right, that's like it's the worst you can do when recording sound. Clip the recordings. It's a lot of work to take off later on in post. So you want to be living in between -12 and -6. And also you have to realize, oops, sorry about that. And also you have to realize that oh, it went back to auto, but we don't want that. We want manual. Yes, sir. There we go. There we go. Alrighty. Yes. All right, we're living here. Okay, great. So there is a thing that I wanted to speak about, and is connecting the microphone properly. And now what you're hearing is the microphone inside of the camera. That's why you still see the meters moving. But if I connected and not all the way down, you'll see that I still have some signal, but it's not the signal coming from this microphone. It's the signal that's coming from the internal microphones. And we don't want that. We have to put it in. And now that clipping means that we have just put our Rode microphone, and you can see how the signal completely changed. All right. So now we will adjust again our signal to live in between -6 and -12 dBs. All right, that's where we want to be. Again, this is super important. Every recording is different, unless you're recording in the same studio every day, where you don't have to change anything. It's basically come, sit down, and start talking. You do want to change your audio settings every time you change the shot, and make sure that you are monitoring with headphones. Super important, super important. Always listen to your audio. Do not go by just the meters. Okay, do not go by just the meters. This is really important, as just looking at the meters won't give you the real sound that you're capturing, and therefore you will have problems in post-production. Now, for other cameras, newer cameras, there is other kinds of adapters. I also wanted to speak, I think the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus has some other settings on the back, like for example rechargeable batteries that you can do. They include a 9-volt rechargeable, but you can put also 2 AA's instead, in case you run out of battery for your microphone. And now let's pull out our next part of the video, which is the spec sheets for the Rode VideoMics, where I will be speaking a little bit more into detail on what this means and how to get the best quality sounds. And go! All right, guys, so we are on the Rode website. I'm gonna start going through the different VideoMics, and together we will see what's best for us, and what works best and what doesn't. Let's see first the VideoMic Micro, which we can see here. It has a compact size and lightweight, only 80 millimeters, so it's like pretty short, and 42 grams, 1.5 ounces, all metal microphone body, which means it's more propense to interferences if we have our phone next to it. Hopefully we don't, and everything is good and ready to go. No battery required, as is powered by our camera. So this is great. This is a great option to have if you're gonna be doing small videos. Or videos where you don't need to be like far away from the camera. That is great. A couple of things included, and 2-year extended warranty when you register your microphone. So we get 2 years of extended guarantee. That's great. All right, for this next data sheet or spec data sheet, I'm gonna just talk very quickly about what's a microphone and its characteristics. So a microphone is a transducer that converts acoustic energy into electrical energy. That's easy to understand. Usually it's recommended to use a microphone that is the most transparent possible, which means that the electrical signal and the acoustical signal are transferring to each other with the least amount of noise possible. So let me start talking about the type of transducer inside of the microphone, which is how the microphone picks up a sound and converts it into an electrical signal. As I explained before, that's how the microphones operate, so we can record it for our dialogue or our wild tracks or sounds, etc. A transducer is a device that changes the energy from one form to another, which is what we need inside of the mic. In this case, talking about microphones, it's acoustic energy into electrical energy. The operating principle determines some of the basic capabilities of the microphone. All right, impedance. Impedance, to make it simple, it's a kind of a AC resistance. Microphones usually come with an output impedance of less than 200 ohms. Such low impedance allow for very long cable runs with without sound degradation, which means that you can have your boom up or your boom microphone, for example, on a pole and then run a long cable towards your camera or where your camera is positioned without getting any sound degradation. This will not be the case, for example, with an electric guitar, let's say, as the impedance pickups lose quite a bit on the top end. So what do we do about those impedance specs? Not much, really. Pretty much any studio microphone has an output impedance of 200 ohms or less. The exact value may matter to classical music engineers because they often have to work with very long cable runs. But in a home studio or in your YouTube studio at home, it doesn't matter. Also, just about any studio preamp that comes with an input impedance above the recommended minimum load, which is 200 ohms, no problem either. And a little bit of a general rule, the bigger the capsule, the bassier the sound. So now, let's talk about diameters. A large diaphragm condenser will be 1 inch, and a small diaphragm condenser will be half an inch. Some mics like the Rode NT3 have 3-4 inch capsules. Good compromise and a good starting point if you just need a mic for everything. That's what I would suggest for an entry-level microphone. This is another conversation about microphones. If you guys are interested, I'll definitely go into it. Address type, I don't know what they mean by address type, and I'll have to look into this. Okay, frequency range, 100 Hz to 20 kilohertz. This is pretty standard. Usually, you know, most of the microphone manufacturers, they put from 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz. All the human voice lives within the 75, 80 hertz, and it starts going on from there, but also the wind rumbles live over there, the AC unit rumbles live over there, so you can get some low frequency sounds. That's why I'm guessing they started at 100 hertz, as it will kill some of the low frequencies. You know, they expect you to not having to do post or not having to, you don't want to do a lot of post when using this mic. Maximum SPL or sound pressure level. This is 140 dBs SPL, sound pressure level, decibel sound pressure level, which means that once you've reached if you are, for example, let's say recording a jackhammer, a construction on the street, and you are using this microphone, it will overload when you pass the 140 dB mark. It depends on the work that you do. You may or may not need this. I use higher SPL mics for other things, for example, like rocket launching, stuff like that, where the sound is really going to overload all those microphone capsules. So it really depends on what you need. You should get for the price, you know, I wouldn't be really the sensitivity. Okay, this is important. When you record with different microphones, you'll notice that some models require less gain than others. That's what some people mean when they talk about a hot mic or a loud microphone. In datasheets, this is properly documented as sensitivity sensitivity. It's good to know that sensitivity it is an important spec for dynamic microphones only, because at such a low levels, every decibel or millivolt helps to achieve a good noise performance. For condenser mics, the sensitivity specification is not really terribly interesting, as the exact value does not matter, because any value above about 8 millivolts per Pascal is more than enough for excellent noise performance with just about any preamp. However, high sensitivity can be beneficial when you work with an entry-level preamp. More often than not, cheap preamps often sound dull and lifeless above 50 dB. So when you raise the gain more than 50 dB, a high sensitivity microphone will rarely require that much gain. Alright, so equivalent noise or A-weighted, which is 20 dBA. Alright, A-weighting is the most commonly used of family of curves defined on a graph. When you pull out a graph with the microphone curves and you can see the gain, the dBs on the gain of the dBs on the left, and the curves with the frequency spectrum on the bottom, and you can do different comparisons. This is the international standard that we use related to the sound pressure level. Okay, so it depends. You have to do a mathematical rule because it goes by octaves and stuff. Again, if you want me to get very technical with this, I'll do it, but it's just gonna be a video that's gonna last 2 or 3 hours. So I'll get into this later on in another video, which is its own animal. It's 2 different animals. So I'm happy to talk about it. It's gonna take a 2-hour video to talk and explain all of this. Power requirements, 2 to 5 volts DC, which is great. This microphone doesn't need any more than that. If it was to need more than that, it will also get into our battery life capabilities, which you don't want too much if you're gonna be doing videos all the time or long videos. Again, we'll talk about voltages and mics and how they perform within time. Output connection. The output connection is a 3.5 millimeter mini jack. It doesn't say, but I'm guessing it's a TRRS, which is the connector made for, or TRS, or 3-pole connector, which is made for most iPhones and Samsung devices. You will need an adapter to use this with your latest iPhones. I'm guessing when the new iPhone comes out, it's gonna be USB-C, hopefully. So we will need new dongles and adapters for this. And the warranty is super important as well. It's 1 year with free extension to 2 years. So please guys, as soon as you buy your Rode mics, just go online, put your serial number, and get that warranty in case anything happens. The dimensions 21 by 80, and the weight 42 grams. It's not bad for the price. Again, you can't go wrong with $75. I know that for a lot of people that will be a lot. My opinion, buy one, cry once. But if you are trying to stay on a budget, for the time being, it's not a bad mic. Let's go into the VideoMic Go. VideoMic Go, high quality directional microphone, so I'm guessing more directional. No battery required. Okay, so this is not 48 phantom power. Integrated Rycord lyre. Rycord is a really great brand that makes shock mounts, lyres, and wind protection, besides other components and other accessories to put lavaliers. It's the lightest mic they have, 73 grams. It's not bad at all, 73 grams, but again, if I wouldn't sacrifice sound quality for weight in this case. I'm always an advocate for good sound quality. Rugged reinforced ABS construction. Like when they tell you, oh, this device or this apparatus, it's waterproof. Is it the same waterproof as water resistant? How much does it, it's not the same. I'm just putting an example, but if it falls to the floor or somebody steps on it, or God forbid you leave it on your couch and somebody sits on top, I'm guessing it's somewhat protected. Windshield included, that's always good. Again, same thing, 3.5 millimeter jack output, which I'm guessing it's a TRRS connector, which you won't need a adapter for. You will need the dongle, but you won't need a 4-pole to 3-pole adapter to make this mic work in case you want to use it with iPhone. integrated cold shoe mount. That's great. This is great. That's what I was talking before. It just integrated, and you can, you know, just have like a quick release and put it from your camera to a boom pole on your room or your studio setup and make things super fast. If you need it, just take it off, pop it on the camera, and go. These are all consumer microphones. Again, you know, I wouldn't call it prosumer even. I'll show you prosumer microphones if you want in another video, which will be the NTG series, RODE NTG series, and similar brands that offer the same microphone capabilities. And again, 2-year extended when you register. Let's go to the mic specs. The acoustic principle is the line gradient, same as the other one. JFET impedance with converter by bipolar output buffer. That's what I told you before. So you get to have more because they're using the JFET impedance converter. You get to have more options as a filter, maybe a pad. It depends on really the electronics inside and what they want to offer for the price being. So they know what they have and they know what they want to offer. So you are gonna get what you pay for. I won't get tired of saying this because you really need to make a decision where spending money for sound. Little money will get you not bad sound, but okay sound, and the good money will get you the good sound. That's just how it is. 50 centimeter capsule, so it's basically the same as the other one. The polar pan is super cardioid. Okay, this is great because it's still small and it gives you that, you know, space around the mic, so you can capture a conversation between two people that are close to camera, not too far, because then you lose everything. But still, it's okay to have a super cardioid for that money. You know, components and electrical components and transistors and stuff, that's another talk for another video. Address type, again, have no idea what they mean by this. No idea. Frequency range 100 hertz to 16 kilohertz. So this will go less than the other mic we saw before. The other mic was 20 kilohertz at the end, and it started also at 100 hertz. So basically it's like they're putting a little bit of a high pass or low cut, whatever you want to call it, and it cuts at 16K. There is little to nothing living on 16K to 20K, at least for the human ear perception. So it depends on the work that you're doing. You'll need one mic or another one. If you are just doing, you know, if you're getting this mic, you're gonna put it super close to your mouth on a boom pole. For example, let me just make an example. So the mic should be like pointing to my chest and up, right outside of frame. You see? It's right here, so I will put it right there, looking to my chest. That will be the perfect position for the mic. In case I go forward, I go backward, the sound pressure level, it won't change too much. That is noticeable, all right? So again, cutting at 16K, there is no, unless you are an opera singer or similar, there is no octaves or notes or artifacts that are getting into that frequency, which you guys are good. 120 decibel sound pressure level. This is good. If you are gonna overload the mic, again, no way back from clipping. I said this before and I won't get tired of saying this again. There is no way back from clipping. So before clipping your mic, just put a pad. There is many options. The microphone, the VideoMic Pros, they have pads, you know, for this case scenarios. Sensitivity minus 35.0 dBs. The other one was minus 33. That's a negligent difference in between the two. So again, it's almost the same. You're buying kind of the same specs on a little bit of a different microphone because it has a JFET impedance converter. You may get more options on the back of the mic. That's dependent again of the work you do. Some people need it, some people don't. Equivalent noise level, A weighted, I explained before what it was, and we have 34 dBAs. We had 33 in the other one, if I'm not mistaken. Again, negligent difference. The human ear won't know. 73 grams, whereas the other one was 60 something, I believe. Was it? I don't remember. Sorry. The difference, I also explained before. It's you know, you're getting what you're getting for the money that you're putting down. So if you want to, you know, 73 grams, 60 grams, 80, 150, it's all the same. When your camera, it's about a kilo, so, or like a pound or 2 pounds, you know. you know, you shouldn't be basing your microphone purchases on the weight of the microphone unless you are doing iPhone recordings and you need to keep it super tight. Dimensions 79 by 73 by 167. It's almost like the other one, so great. Same type of connector output, 3.5 millimeter. I'm guessing it's TRRS as well, and 1 year with free extension to 2 years when you register online. It's good. I mean, it's the same thing, but same thing, different smell. You know, you get what you pay for. For the people that you know about sound, is great. For the people that don't know about sound, it's kind of like the same thing you're buying in here. It's just like one is more directional, super cardioid, and the video micro, it's a cardioid, where the other one, it was a super cardioid. Depends on the work that you do, depends on the interviews that you do, how you want to position yourself, what's the distance from the camera, and you may want to buy one or another. Then let's go to the standard VideoMic studio recording quality. Oh, studio recording quality. I would like to. I've been in plenty of studios, never seen this mic before on the studio. Condenser microphone, super cardioid polar parting as the previous one that we saw, and this one is 9-volt battery power, because I'm guessing that it needs phantom power. Phantom power is plus 48 volts. This makes internally the electronics of the microphone react in a different way. Integrated Rycote lyre shock mounting. Same thing that we talked about Rycote before. The lyre shock mount is great. I love Rycote. They're a great brand. But if you're gonna be fighting with handling noise or running around, I will get something better. Definitely more professional. 2-step high pass filter, flat 8. There you go. So now I'm guessing. Yeah, so we have line gradient, JFET impedance converter. That's why we have all these options here: 3-step pads, 3-step pads, and the high pass filters. You know, these are things that are really useful if you're gonna be using the microphone for multiple purposes. So I will strongly suggest to, you know, do a plan before you buy and see what you're gonna use it for and how much you want to spend. Rugged reinforced ABS construction. Same thing we talked before. Windshield included, 3.5 millimeter, integrated cold show, great. 10-year extended warranty, exactly, so good. So this is the first microphone of the VideoMics that have a 10-year extended warranty when you register your microphone. Do it, do it, do it, do it, because you never know, and it can save you a few bucks if you are under warranty and something happens to the mic. I was gonna say another thing, but not better not. Line gradient, it's when we use a interference tube shotgun microphone with a gradient, which I said before, it means directional, for lack of a better explanation right now. Is great. You know, this is what a microphone at least should be. I wouldn't, if I have to get one and I have to choose between these three, I will choose definitely this one. This will be the cheapest, that gives you the best options for sound quality. And again, as I was saying before, all of them are JFET junction impedance converters. Same diameter for the capsule. This is a super cardioid. I explained before what was a super cardioid. So super cardioid, it's picking up a little bit more on the distance, and same rejection on the sides, same off-axis pattern, so address type end. All right, let's go to frequency range, 40 hertz to 220 kilohertz. Again, you are not gonna get anything below 40 hertz, or at least you can get stuff, but really negligible to the human ear. And 20 kilohertz from 16, 17, 15.9K up. It's difficult to get. You know, you can get some octaves over there that kill the perception of the human voice, but for YouTube videos and staged videos, it's all good. Output impedance 200, which is the standard. Maximum SPL 134. The other one was 140. This one, the other one 133. It's okay. Sensitivity minus 38.0 dB, which we leave on the same place we were as before. The other ones were 34 and 33. Equivalent noise is 20 dBA. Okay, we start seeing incrementing change here on the equivalent noise level. This is what we want to look at the time of buying microphones. All right, we need to know this stuff. All right, so research it, go into Wikipedia, go into Google, go into many places, or ask me to do a video. I'll happily do another video just talking about the equivalent noise level of microphones. Power options, as I said before, 9-volt battery power. The weight is 176 grams, which is it's a good increase. It's almost double, actually more than double than the other one. But again, the quality you're getting deserves it. It depends on where you put it. It could be a problem or not. The dimensions, well, let me talk. So why could it be a problem? Because if you're using a gimbal and you're using an iPhone gimbal and it's really small, and this is gonna make a difference, you have to make a choice. And to make a choice, you have to plan for it and see what's your budget and what are you gonna be doing with it. I strongly suggest, if you are thinking that you're gonna need it, better to have it and don't need it than need it and don't have it. That's how I think. When it comes to sound, I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, so I cannot tell you to buy cheap because I don't do it. Dimension 65 by 102 by 250. This is a long microphone, but you're getting what you pay for. The interference tube is better, it's longer, it reaches longer distance when capturing sound. Output is the same, 3.5mm TRRS, I'm guessing, and 1 year with free extension to 10, which is great. Again, go online, put your serial number, download that warranty, and get your covered in case, yeah. All right, let's go to the VideoMic Pro. VideoMic Pro, which is the same one I was showing before. This is V2, I have V1. Right collider system, which is not the one that I was showing before how to change. All new capsule with higher noise, lower noise and higher sensitivity. This is what we want, all right? The electric components inside, the FETs, JFETs, all this stuff, it's what really makes a difference between our mics and the rest of the people microphones. If you want to sound better, you spend more money. If you have the money, if not, RODE does a lot of stuff, so you can definitely get in touch with them and ask them when is their next giveaway and see if you can get some of these mics. I know several people that got them. Broadcast recording quality condenser microphone. Okay, claiming it's a condenser microphone. Obviously, there is different types of levels of condenser microphones. Depends on the budget you have, the money you want to spend. Compact factor, ultra lightweight, 85 grams. For this 85 grams is the same as the other one, and it's gonna cost more money, but you're getting better quality sound. 9-volt battery power again, over 70 hours use on an alkaline, so you are getting 9-volt battery power. I'm guessing this is rechargeable, and you're getting on an alkaline not rechargeable, 70 hours. 70 hours is great. You just need to remember to turn off the microphone, otherwise it'll go in 3 days. Integrated shock mounting, same thing. If you're gonna be doing small stuff, it's great. If you're gonna be running around and doing more serious stuff, I'll strongly suggest to get a better shock mount. Rycote has many. Another company to look into, Cinella. They're from France, they're great, very expensive, really expensive, but it's great if you want the best support system for your microphone. Integrated from screen, okay, 3.5mm, 2-step high pass because they have the JFET, I'm guessing, 3-position level control, camera shoot, and 10-year extended warranty. Okay, great. Same thing as before, line gradient type of microphone, JFET, as I mentioned before even looking at it. 50, the capsule is a 50 diameter capsule. Address type, I don't know, I have to research about this. I don't know what address type means. Frequency range 40 to 20K, selected high pass filter at 80. So you can, what they're doing before is when they are giving you 80 or 100 hertz, or from 80 or 100 hertz, they're basically putting a little bit of a high pass filter over there. And that's why here in this type of microphones now you can select. You are spending more money, you get to select. That's just how it is. Same output impedance as the other one, 134 dB SPL. Sound pressure level is exactly the same as the other ones. Maximum output level, alrighty, 6.9 millivolts. 6.9 millivolts which at 1 kilohertz. 1 kilohertz, just so you know, is the standard test tone that we all do when you want to test all your gear, or the gain structure on all your gear. You put a 1K test tone, and that's where you set up all the levels the same in your camera, your recorder, from the microphone, etc, etc, right? I'll get more into this in another videos. If you guys want me to, just ask on the comment section. Sensitivity -32 dB. Again, it's the same neighborhood as it was before with the other mics. 1 volt Pascal, 20 millivolts, and 94 dB SPL. All right, so it's pretty standard. It's lower than the professional microphones I use, but still is good for the price. I believe this one was 100 and something, 149 maybe, 139, around that neighborhood. Equivalent noise, I explained what it was before, is the standard for the graphic that I'll show you how to use if you want me to. This is another video. Again, it's just like, it's too much to talk about in just one video, so I'm just gonna just, as what I've mentioned before, for now it is what it is. Weight 85 grams, which is kind of the same as the other ones. It's great, you're getting more quality for the same weight, so at the time that you want to upgrade, you won't notice a difference in weight when you're like shooting with your camera and doing your moves, in case that's what you want to do. But if you want to upgrade to a better microphone, just get a better microphone. That's my tip for this video. Dimensions 100 by 75 by 170, which is kind of the other one, but you're getting a better, how they call it here, a better broadcast recording quality condenser microphone, which is again negligent. You are not gonna hear any difference between these RODE VideoMics or the Asden, or with the comparison with a cheap microphone from AliExpress or similar. You will hear notice some difference in the vocal tonality, but unless you go the next step, you won't feel like your sound has improved much. And the warranty is 1 year with free extension to 10. That's great. Yeah, again, I'll say it again, just please go online, put your serial number, get that warranty. You never know what's gonna happen. And then let's go to the VideoMic Pro Plus. VideoMic Pro Plus. Ooh, we have here all these buying links. Ooh, fancy. Automatic power and function with plug-in power. Okay, so this means that you have a rechargeable battery inside, and when you plug it into the camera, the microphone recognizes it, and when you turn on camera, mics turn on. When you turn off camera, mics powers off. It's great, depends on the work that you do. You may want this or not. There we go, via LB1 or 2 AA batteries, micro USB. Which is great because micro USB is a pretty standard cable. Everyone has it. Even if you lose it or break it in your backpack, you can always get it in the airport or such. Ships with LB1 lithium battery, detachable TRS cable. Oh, so they are TRS cables, so 3-pole. All right, guys, 3-pole. You will need an adapter if you want to try this cable into a 4-pole, or the new equals to the new iPhone's new cell phones. Micro USB cable, this is pretty standard. Built-in battery door. This is great because the battery doors on the VideoMics Pro 1 were bad. They broke really easily, difficult to put in, and in a pinch you can't do it fast. I would strongly suggest that if that's something that makes a difference to you and you have the money, just go for this one. You're just gonna live more in peace when you have to like change batteries or do a lot of stuff by yourself because you are a one-man band shooter. All right, so it definitely makes your life easier. Optimized windshield shape. Okay, digital switching, which you're digitally switching on the board on the back of the microphone. A lot of choices, I'm guessing, and this one they just gave you a 10-year extended warranty because you are spending the money. Again, acoustic principle, line gradient, so you need directional, that's what you're paying for. Electronics JFET impedance converter, same exact as the other ones, with a little bit of a bigger capsule, 0.55. This is a super cardioid, as the one we saw before, the other VideoMic, which is like their game changer, I guess. Just gonna leave it there. Address type N, same thing, 2220. All right, now selected high pass filter at 75 Hz or 100 Hz, depending on the needs that you have. Again, if you have a windy day like I have outside, just hit that low pass, hit that high pass filter if you are not going to do any post. If you are doing post, don't touch anything, leave it flat and fix it later on at home. 200 ohms output impedance, that's okay, that's good. 133 decibels sound pressure level is the same neighborhood as the other ones. If you want a better, more sound pressure level, you should, if you want better SPL on a microphone, spend the money and look up those microphones, but they range, the good ones, they range in between $1,500 to all the way to $6-7 grand. So it depends on what you want. The maximum output level, 7.7 dBu, all right? We've changed, if you see the nomenclature here, this 7.7 dBu is getting close to what a mic should be, but still, sensitivity minus 33.6 dBs at 1 volt Pascal, which is the same as the other guys. The equivalent noise is 14 dBA. I can't remember what the other one was, but I think it's the same neighborhood. The power options, you have more power options, so it will be 9 volts via USB cable or 2 AA's. The weight is 122 grams, so in case you are upgrading for the other microphones, you won't feel much of a difference. Dimensions 111 by 16 by 170. Same neighborhood, same thing. So you are just getting a little bit of a longer reach, you know, sacrificing a little bit of weight at the top. It's not weight at the top because the microphones don't weight at the top really. So you are basically getting a little bit more, paying a little bit more. A little bit could be a big change when you are in trouble recording sound with your friends or interviewing somebody or making a video about a product. So, you know, assess what you need and then buy accordingly. Same kind of output, 3.5 millimeter TRS, that now we know. So it's a TRS, a 3-pole connector, and the warranty 1 year with free extension to 10. This is great. And then on my next video, I will show you what's the difference between all these guys and VideoMic NTG, all right? So now here's when we start going from consumer level to prosumer level, all right? Which is not professional, it's prosumer level. You have to take in consideration many things. Revolutionary acoustic design, delivering unmatched acoustic transparency and a natural uncolored sound. I would like to hear that. I have, I think it's 5 Rode NTG ones that I used to put on top of the cameras just for reference, and in case it rains, I'd rather have those microphones over there than my good microphones. So it's good, it's okay, but again, you get what you pay for. If you want to sound great, by Schoeps, by the high-end Sennheiser series, there is many brands. I'll make another video talking with all these mics, and you'll tell me what you like. Highly directional, super cardioid, polar pattern, and very flat frequency response. You see, this is what I talked to you about before. You want a flat frequency response and you want to record flat sound. So that means nothing. If you're going to touch it in post, it's better to touch in post where you have more control of everything rather than on set. If you are not doing post, for God's sake, please use something so it sounds better. That's what I think. Unique, infinitely variable gain control. Variable gain control is basically a automatic gain control, which it changes based on the perception of the sound pressure level. I'm guessing that's what they mean by that. Pressure gradient, electret condenser. Okay, so this is an electret condenser. This is the first of the NTG Pro, or the most basic of the NTGs, that will give you a crispier sound than any of the other video mics, as it has an electret condenser. Electret condenser is a component that goes right by where the capsule is, which will give you a better response when it's moving to capture that pressure, that waves of compression and rarefaction of sound getting to the interference tube of the mic. All right, let's see what else do we have in here. Class compliant USB-C output, you see? So because it, oh sorry, I jumped one. Auto sensing 3.5 millimeter output interacts seamlessly with both cameras and mobile devices. Okay, this is good because you can change the cable on the back, which means that you can put it on a pole and just run a long cable to your camera, which is placed in another in another location of your room, or means that you can just put it on top and have a shorter cable so you don't have to wrap it around. Depends on what you need. Class compliant USB-C output with headphone output for seamless audio monitoring. All right, so class compliant USB-C output, all right, with headphone output. This means that you can monitor from the microphone which is really, really, I can't stress enough. There is many people I've seen them, they kind of use the same setup for all their videos, and that's like saying like, oh yeah, I record videos, but I never change my exposure or the focus length. I always do the same, and I just leave it in the same setup. You know, if you know about cinematography, camera, lighting, yada, 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 it is what it is, all right? So you always have to listen and monitor what you are recording. That's rule number one. Always monitor what you're recording, guys. Always, always. Every single person you monitor. It's like if you're using wireless. If you're using wireless, always monitor, always test the sensitivity of the transmitter once you are miking the talent, all right? That's super important. Digital switching controls, high pass filter, pads, frequency boost, and safety channel dB peak warning light. All right, so it will tell you on a light, I'm guessing red is the color, when you are peaking, because there is no coming back from clipping. No coming back. But it also has a safety channel. That means that when you plug the cable into your camera, there's left and right? So it will record one level on the left and another level on the right. So you can put a pad on the right channel, giving you a safety channel in case there is a loud noise. You'll capture that noise without clipping, and then you can use that noise in post, or somebody starts talking like this and they go like, exactly, you know what I'm saying? So it changes the sound pressure level, and you always have a safety on the right channel, which is great for many situations. Internal rechargeable lithium battery, 30 plus hours of recording, great. Charges via USB-C, which you can do from the new cameras to using converters, etc. That I leave to the batteries. If you're using Anton Bauer brick batteries, or you're using the power packs, that's kind of each one likes their own rigs. This is like the radio of a car. I like my radios, and everyone else likes their own radio stations. No, not two people has the same radio station on the same channel on the car. Nah, stupid. High quality Rycote lyre. I explained before about Rycote, great company, love them. Lightweight, 94 grams, which is great. I mean, you know, if you upgrade from the other ones to this one, because we have become big boys and now we want better sound in all our videos, you won't feel the difference in case you're run and gun or going around doing interviews. It will be longer, I'm sure, but you won't feel the difference on weight, and so your rig won't change as much, which is, you know, something to take in consideration. Depends on the job that you do. Acoustic principle, as I said before, pressure gradient electrode condenser, we've gone through this. Super cardioid as before, 20 to 20, 35K to 18K, plus minus 3 dB is the frequency response. Output impedance of 10 ohms, signal to noise ratio, because okay, so let me explain. Now that we have, you know, a pressure gradient electrode condenser, we have more specs to look up into as the components have changed to a better microphone. But also, I believe this microphone is more expensive. So depends on the work that you do, depends how much you want to spend. One mic is better than the other one. Dynamic range 105 SPL, 8 weighted. Dynamic range is 105 SPL. Equivalent noise is 15 dB SPL. Which is standard, all right, for this type of microphones when you are buying the low quality of prosumer microphones. Sensitivity, again, I'll do a video for this. If you guys are really interested, just let me know on the comment section. Input SPL, the sound pressure level goes up to 120 dB SPL, so you have a little bit like 20 dB less than the other one. I think what 140 for such a tiny mic is great. 130 was the other VideoMic, small one, but I will strongly suggest that if you're gonna go past this, you know, that's why you have the safety channel on the right, which you can put lower so you don't clip on the recording and get that sound. High pass filter frequency 75 or 150, you have the choice. Battery life 30 plus hours on a rechargeable battery, which is great. The capacity of the battery is 350 milliamps. I mean, doesn't make any difference to me, as I will recharge the microphone every night, because that's what I do on my daily life, just recharge things. When the nighttime comes, guys, I just recharge all my devices. I have like 8. It's crazy. If I forget, my world ends. Battery capacity, output connection 3.5 millimeter, auto sensing USB-C. The auto sensing USB-C means that it senses when the camera is on and when the camera is off. So when you turn your camera on, boom, mic goes on. You don't have to think about hitting the back of the mic to turn it on, which comes really handy if you're, again, one-man band and doing your thing. All right, bit depth 24-bit and 48K on the sample rate. This is what we use standard on the movies. So when we're doing feature films or any kind of independent movies or professional movies, you always want to use a bit depth of 24 bits and a sample rate of 48K kilohertz, which is the, I won't get into this right now, again, it's just another super long video, but I will tell you that this bit depth 24-bit and sample rate of 48K, which is the standard for movie making, OS requirements. Oh, I see, because you can record this as if it was its own sound interface. All right, this is okay, this is great. Then it has more uses than just being a mic, which is good if you need it for your YouTube studio at home. But don't get it twisted. This is a prosumer microphone. This is not a professional microphone. This is not the best microphone for filmmakers. This is not the best microphone for even short films, all right? You can use it, of course, but there is way better options that I will buy. If you give me a choice with the money, I will find a better option, because I'm sure it's not cheap, but it's really well priced. Mechanical specification 94 grams on the weight and diameter 25, length 171. So that's, yeah, it's a good size mic, you know. So let's do a comparison. If this is the RODE mic, there we go. If this is the RODE mic, the other one will be up to here, kind of here, which is great because you have a bigger tube, which you can use to your advantage for more things. All right. Okay, and I feel that's it for the VideoMics. Yeah, that's it for the VideoMics. Yeah, you have the NTG5 and another things which I will get more into, stereo mics, stuff like that. The IXY, which is cool too. You just plug it in and record. It's good for podcasts if you're gonna be like right here. Again, you see what you need and assess what you need, and depending on that, you buy. That's how you do. But please plan ahead. Don't just buy. Don't just watch one video and buy whatever they tell you. There is many options out there, many brands. You know, look for what you need. That's my tip.